Hey, it's Dee from Twinflame Stories podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, let me give you a rundown. Basically, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Here's how it works. Anchor lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to the most popular listening platforms, including Spotify, with a single tap. Anchor is also the only place you can publish video podcasts to Spotify. With Anchor, creators can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hi, it's Dee from the Twinflame Stories podcast. Welcome. The Twinflame Stories podcast is a place where you can listen to stories from other twin flames and where you can share your own journey. If you'd like to share your own journey, please write to me at d@denisetaylor.me. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'm a one-person production, so please understand it might take me time to respond. Please be sure, if you'd like to share your story on the podcast, that you change the names of people and places if you don't want those to be used publicly. I also have a community on Facebook that you can join called The Collective. The Collective is a group that offers daily divination, monthly energy clearings, a monthly live card reading session, and a personal one-card read each month. In addition, it's a platform to ask, receive, and lend a hand to other twins as they navigate their journey. You can find out more about the paid subscription to The Collective by visiting denisetaylor.me. The link will be in the show notes. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Hello everybody, this is episode 5, and just in case you don't know who I am, this is Dee, and coming to you today with some more stories from Mary's diary. So what we've been tackling so far was just a couple of episodes where I introduced a couple of basics to you. We talked about clearings. Then we had an episode where we talked to Kim and she shared her story. And then I had an episode where we talked about spending time in the 5D, the spiritual realm, versus always focusing what's here in the 3D. And then we read from Mary's diary about her twin John, which we are going to continue to do in between guests. I do have 2 people lined up. One is in the process of finding a good time, and another one is going to write her story for us. So in the future, those will be coming. We just have to wait a little bit longer. I do have some really amazing news. Our friend Kim from a couple episodes ago wanted to let everybody know that she is actually open to giving everybody who's interested one relationship healing with her if you are so interested. You don't even have to share anything here at the podcast with us. Originally, I had interpreted it that way, but she wanted to open it up and let everybody know they're welcome to that. So the way you can get in touch with her is by emailing me at twinflameauthor@gmail.com, and I will give her your contact information so she can get a hold of you, and she will do a pranic healing, and it's a relationship healing that she'd be passing on to you as a gift. No strings attached. So that's a great gift for everybody. Thank you so much, Kim. We appreciate that greatly. All right. I guess I don't have too much to share. Well, maybe I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on with me. Since I started the podcast, I really feel like this has really shaken things up for me. There's no difference as far as how things are in the 3D at this point. However, what's happening on the spiritual level or somewhere in the middle, it feels like there's some tearing of fabrics of some relationships and melding of other fabrics with my twin. It's really hard to explain, but that's happened. And also a few weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, about 2.5, I experienced a sensation of what it would remind me of is like being in labor and you get to the transition part. And I had what it felt like inside my body was like an earthquake. This quaking inside of my belly, like from my hips up to the bottom of my chest, was just quaking like an earthquake. And I just had that feeling of like intensity and a little bit of fear, but in an exciting kind of way. Like things were very intense and shifting, and there was something about to happen. And of course, we don't always know what that thing happens to be at the time, but I really believe that something shifted at that point. I'm not sure what it is yet. However, I just wanted to share those insights with you. So sometimes, I guess, when we get on our path and we put our feet where they're supposed to go, it brings up things for us. It can shift energies. It can make us start to feel all kinds of things, think of things, start to burn some fires, burn some stuff down, and build some stuff up. All right. Okay, we're going to dive into Mary's diary today. And she calls this first diary of hers. I actually have 3 of them that belong to her, and I did look over them further this week to see how long they span, and they actually go for approximately a year. They do get a little bit more sporadic at the end of the year. However, I think it'll be insightful to see how the year goes down. And then I did connect with her, and we discussed the possibility of her writing some more if she wanted to share that. And she said that was something that she would be interested in, would be sharing some more of her meditations and diaries with you. So we're looking forward to that. All right. So this entry is 12/18. Dear Diary, and just a heads up that this will actually probably entail like 5-6 entries, because some of her entries are also small. The last one we tackled was actually one of the biggest ones, and it took up our time for the podcast, so that worked out great. But in further podcasts, it'll be several. It could be 5, 6, 7 entries depending on how long she writes for. So, all right. 12/18, Dear Diary. Today, while I was at work, I was considering how I felt like a lot of my soul work has been completed prior to meeting him. I prayed, however, that if there were still issues to bring to the light, could I please see them? Today, God answered that prayer. He brought 2 very real issues to the surface for me to work on. It happened right before bed. I'm going to sleep now and will decide tomorrow how to deal with them. Love, Mary. 12/19. Dear Diary, I woke up this morning fully aware that I was in my basement. The basement with no lights on. I needed to root these 2 things out of there and bring them up to the light. I couldn't imagine people staying down in their basements all the time. Hugs to them. I prayed for my love that he would be mostly out of his basement today after yesterday's experience. I decided I would write and burn my emotions on the subject as a way of release. Just before I began writing, I started to cry over the offending culprits. I felt my love come to me. He held me in his arms. Shh, it's okay, baby. I'm here for you. I relished that brief moment and knew I could go on and do what needed to be done. As soon as my pain hit the paper, it dissipated. Really? That is what all the fuss was about? I wrote it all out, releasing my anger and sadness with it. I also gave thanks for the molding it had given me. The trials were not there to break me down, but to build me. I felt grateful for that and gave thanks. I burnt the writing, sighed a prayer of relief. Now I could be in the light at a brighter level. Love, Mary. 12/20. Dear Diary, today I woke up, read my vision. I meditated over it. It's hard to be in the higher vibrations, but I would take what I could get. I said my gratitude, released it to the universe. I was feeling a bit low, thinking it had been 16 days since I'd heard from him in the 3D. It was very sad to me. I hated it. I doubted everything. I wondered how I was going to survive the separation of the 3D between us. I don't know if I'm right, but I had a feeling that he's trying to leave me behind. I understand if he feels it might work that he should try. I don't want him to. I want him to run into my arms, but sometimes you need to follow a certain path to realize where you were in the first place. I pulled his picture out. He looks like he's seeing right into me in this one. I had a long chat with him face to face this way. It seemed sort of silly, but I needed to say some things out loud, so I did. I wanted him to know how much I loved him, how much I cherish our connection, and how much I wanted to be in full union with him. I asked my higher beings to help on this journey. Later in the day, I listened to some of my teachers. I did a meditation in the Merkaba with him. I was too afraid to go back to the garden. I did a clearing for us. He held my hand in the Merkaba. He pulled me into him and hugged me and snuggled my neck. He whispered, "I miss you. I want you so bad. I love you. I'm struggling accepting all of this." I told him I missed him too, and my love was always and always will be waiting to shower on him. I tried to send what I can, without blasting him energetically. I'm not well versed in healing and twins, so I do what I can. I'm sure I'm making a million mistakes. I'm trying to take my cues from him. Right now he's saying he needs to try this. I love him unconditionally. I'll be there supporting that decision. I also need to let him know I'm still here. I won't expect a response, but I wrote to just to say how I was and that I was thinking of him. Just because he opts to go in one direction away doesn't mean I should walk the other way. I will wait instead. I won't chase, but I'll be here. I'll be a constant. I'll be working on my journey and our healing. I'll be sending love and positive vibrations. Love, Mary. 12/21. Dear Diary, I woke up this morning feeling somewhat defeated again. The realization that it's now 17 days without contact leaves my 3D self sad. I knew this is not helping to feel in the lower emotions, so I did my vision work, meditation with the vision, gratitude list, daily clearing, and finally read some blog posts from my teachers. I also had the privilege of having my daily powwow with Anne. I also heard from my soul sister Marie. It always brings me higher to hear from them. They always have light to shine on me. Interestingly enough, the blog I read about reinforced the need to let go in the 3D. Just let it go. If you try to press anything with your twin, they'll run faster the other way. It actually comforts me to know I'm doing the right thing. Just keep working in the 5D. Eventually it'll trickle down to the 3D. That's how the progression goes. I wouldn't have met him in the here and now if we weren't meant to manifest in the 3D. I just have to keep working on myself and us. I feel absolutely so fortunate to have our 5D connection. I also will keep my vision of 3D union at the forefront no matter what seems to be happening. I'll hold space for that vision and that amazing moment. I did meet with him briefly in the Merkaba today. We smiled at each other. He kissed me, I kissed him back. He was happy. I may have to try our garden meeting soon. I'll come back and let you know what comes of it. I pray it's not as heavy as last week. At least not yet. We need to just have baby steps. More later. Love, Mary. 12/21. Dear Diary, well, we opted to go to the garden again. It was nice. Not heavy at all. We began on the plateau as usual. He embraced me and held my hand. He was standing to the right of me there. We took in the scenery. He started talking almost immediately about how he's so sorry it's been the way it's been with lower emotions and lack of communication. I wondered if he wanted to go into the garden to continue. He agreed, so we went down our gem-filled path. The gems are typically bigger, say the size of a quarter. Today they had transformed from a quick view of the usual bigger ones to a path littered with tiny minuscule ones. They covered nearly every part of the path and shimmered and glinted. It was like walking on glitter, only less messy. We didn't hold hands the entire way because I had to bend down and smell the flowers. I noticed today there was forget-me-nots amongst the daisies and roses that grew under the big tree. So pretty. We finally reached the bridge. Here we were holding hands. I could see his boots walking beside my feet. Of course, the bridge to the wise man we went. The wise man greeted us with love as always. They embraced tenderly. I embraced him tenderly too. I asked my beloved if we should swing again today. He thought stretched out on a blanket gazing at the sky would be suffice. He was on my left. We held hands and gazed up at the sky. He began again telling me how sorry he was for how things had been going. I explained that he's really struggling in the 3D to accept his feelings for me. He explained that he's really struggling in the 3D to accept his feelings for me. He reassures me. Oh, they are there, strong, but it's so wrong to love you. He talked about how he would be interfering and how he thinks he should back off. He thinks maybe it might be worth a try to walk backwards. I turned to him. I'll respect any decision you feel you need to make, but I'll tell you this, I don't want you to walk away. I want you with me. I want us together. He responds by inviting me to lay in the crook of his arm next to his chest. He doesn't want to walk away either. It's been a tough week for him. I ask him how he's doing since seeing his brother. He's doing much better. We discuss what happened. I told him I felt responsible for helping bring his brother in. He reassures me he asked for him to come and that he needed that. It was the beginning of a healing for that loss. I ask if it's okay if we do some healing. We do some clearing of the aura, the chakras, the soul. I shower him healing light and love. We continue on with our conversation about this and that. Occasionally while we're conversing, I keep drifting off. I'm so tired tonight. I come back to him and apologize. He smiles and hugs me tight. It's all okay. Finally, we decide to get up and end our session. We embrace standing and walk from the garden holding hands. I don't know why, but this idea he has about walking away in the 3D isn't bothering me anymore. Before we had come to the garden, I felt obsessed about it. I felt panic, but now we're finishing our meditation and holding hands, and I feel at peace. I'm so grateful for this peace. Thank you, my beloved, for this peace between us. That is our session for the night. I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings. Love, Mary. 12:22. Dear Diary, I was feeling a bit of the lower emotions today. I'm really focused on the 3D for some reason. This ongoing silence is antagonizing. I have to remember how important my 5D connection is. I listened to my teachers, and they had good reminders that do not lament and wail because of the lack of the 3D connection. That simply comes from the inner child. Instead, focus strongly on the 5D and just let the 3D go into the universe. While it's okay to ask the universe for what is to come once you do, it's important to let go of it into a space and be content and happy with the 5D connection. After all, it is the higher self that the connection belongs to. It is the most beautiful connection there is. We start high and work into lower dimensions. If I could be open in the 3D right now, I would tell him how dear he is to me, that I love him more than anything I have ever loved in my entire existence. I cannot even begin to explain this sensation. This is assuming I could say it if he were open and enlightened. I'm sure if I said this to him now, it would freak him out and he'd go running off into the woods. I mean, really, who wouldn't? I pray to my spirit guides, my higher beings, my God, the universe. Please see it fit that we can come into the light in this lifetime. Please give me messages so I can see what the next step in my life is to take and to be grateful for the here and the now. I would not be here right this minute if God did not intend it. God, comfort my twin heart. God, comfort my twin heart. Today I went into the Merkaba with my beloved. I was doing a daily clearing, and per usual I invite him to come with me. I love when he comes with me. At first we held hands and he leaned in for a cuddle. He always makes me smile. As usual, the clearing goes. I just do it along with him. I opted to do the clearing twice, and then figured I'd do a third round just for him. Every word I directed lovingly toward him. I think it was very good. I'm going to bed much lighter. Love, Mary. 12:23. Dear Diary, today was crazy insane. My typical routine was not anywhere where it typically is. I had to travel for work. I was fortunate enough to have time early in the morning to mastermind with Anne. I asked that I would be able to come into union with my beloved in this lifetime. I asked that we start building our relationship now and that it be free of blockages. I listened to our music and did a small quick vision. It wasn't like usual, but it was something. I was able to do a clearing later in the morning. Again, the focus wasn't as strong as usual, but it was an attempt, at least an attempt. I also had a short time to read some work by my teachers. It wasn't long either, but at least some little morsel of food. He came to me early in the morning, telling me to be safe on the road. I thanked him and I said I loved him. He always returns the same. I love you. And somehow I still feel I cannot get enough. This is the way of twins. It's never enough. You can swim in their veins pulsing with blood, and it's never enough. While I was traveling, I bumped into a few people who resembled him, then had the premonition that he was going to call my coworker to speak to them. I kept begging him silently, don't call, don't call. I was certain I'd go mad hearing his voice and not speaking to him myself. I wanted to hear his voice, and yet I'm sure I would have shriveled and died hearing it and not being able to speak to him. It's so bittersweet. Thanks be to my higher powers that he refrained from making that call in. Phew. Wouldn't you know, my coworker did bring up his name several times in conversation today? Of course. I find it beyond difficult to remain unfazed by hearing it. Oh, higher spirits, do you have any idea what effect this man has on me? I'm going to write an email tonight. Then I'm going to do a clearing and go to bed. I'm absolutely exhausted. Love yours, Mary. 12:24. Dear Diary, while the schedule has been so off of what it usually is, it leaves me such a small amount of time to do any meditation, healings, or connecting with my beloved. Before I jump in today, let me catch you up from last night. I wrote my email. Oh, it was so good. I was open and honest, and I did not let ego come in my way. My email wasn't needy or demanding. It was simply about love, connection, beliefs. After I had it written and sent it, my spirit felt amazing. I can't even explain why. I guess just having my ego out of the way. I didn't worry about being bothersome. I didn't imagine he was being impatient. I actually envisioned him chuckling about some of the scenarios. I described the phone dilemma. I'm sure he will laugh about that. The connection felt amazing. In 3D, I still felt sad that there's no response. I, however, completely understand. There are things we both need to work on. There are things that stand in the way. There are healings to be done. There's free will. But I believe, with all my higher spirits as witnesses, I believe the union of our flame is coming. It is coming in this life. Fate is growing the seedling as we speak. It may be a little bit before it pushes through the ground, but it's there and it's growing. Divine timing and divine power and unwavering faith. Okay, so let's talk about today. I did a quick vision to music. That felt amazing. I actually could feel the feelings between us. They were amazing. I left the vision with such an amazing feeling. Then I gave it to the universe. I didn't have the opportunity to write my gratitude list, however. Later on, I did some clearings for us, just a couple quick ones, some love and snuggles, some hand-holding, a kiss. I can feel the 3D vibes are much less than usual, and the 5D has been much less physical lately also. It's like we're taking a break from each other's sexuality. It's like a last-ditch effort. If we can just stay away from the sexual attraction, then it will certainly cure us of this love. Or perhaps we think it's lust. Lust is always cured by walking away from temptation. Love, however, is the greatest of all powers, on and in earth and the heavens, and it's so powerful that one cannot simply walk away from the other half of their soul just because they feel like it. They may try, but the universe will keep tugging their heart back to where it's meant to go until they wake up and take the bull by the horns. Tonight I am beyond grateful for our 5D connection. Universe, I leave my heart's desires with you. I know you're able to move mountains. I'm working diligently. Love yours, Mary. 12:25. Dear Diary, Christmas Day. Although it's really a day that people have created, and nothing more than yesterday and nothing more than tomorrow, it leaves humans longing for their beloved. Longing sucks. Let me explain what I mean about its people's creation. December 25th is likely not Jesus' actual birthday. As a matter of fact, even if it was, why would this wonderful celebration make us long for our beloved any more than any other day? So what I mean is the feelings that surround the day are traditions created by man. Snow, trees, lights, shopping, gifts, snuggling by the fire with your beloved, all happy, lovely, snow-covered kisses. In reality, how many of us are living this? How many of us are separated from our beloved? How many of us have said goodbye to our beloved while they went into another realm? How many of us are waiting to even discover our beloved? How many of us are working our asses off in an attempt to make the light of the world a better place? Now let's talk about longing. Longing sucks. It really does. It's so lonely. It's so cold. You can be surrounded by a million friends, a lover, your mother or your father, and yet your heart just misses the other half of your soul. It's like looking into the mirror and physically not being able to see your reflection. You can imagine them, you can feel them peering back, but in reality the mirror is blank. It's like waiting for the other half of your heart to return so you can sew it back together. Couple the longing and the traditions, or lack thereof, and voila, you have the perfect day from HE double hockey sticks. Welcome to my day. It was busy, surrounded with love, surrounded with people who love me. It made no difference. I still had so much longing. I can't even try to imagine another year like this. The wonderful feelings I had after I wrote the last email have calmed. I still feel great about it, but man, that high after having that open communication is fading. Grr. Where are you, my beloved? You are a stubborn one, aren't you? A little voice in my heart, or perhaps it's my ego, says, he's found someone, and he's attempting to get on with life. This may be true, but I can't think about it. I can't let the 3D determine what happens in the 5D. I need to continue on our mission at the soul level no matter what. And personally, I don't want to know if that happens. I do not. That would be like taking a knife and shoving it in my heart and twisting and yanking. Oh, and make sure the knife has a hook on the end of it when it happens. I pray I never have to know. I pray that A, it never happens, ideal. B, if it happens, it ends, and I don't know about it until we're in union. All higher beings, please be with me. Please let me continue on this path. Dearest beloved, just remember, I love you unconditionally forever, even if it means you leave me behind again. It has happened in past lifetimes. This lifetime is different, however. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been slammed directly into you unannounced. Or would I have been pushed directly toward you like that? Oh, honey, our higher beings have a plan. I just have to trust. Okay, now back to what I was able to do for us today. I was able to do my vision to music and a gratitude list. Other than that, my love was just pretty much on my mind all day. When we were opening presents, I was wondering if he was opening presents. I was wondering if he was wondering about me. The bad part about today was I ate it. I ate my feelings instead of just being with them. I had no self-love, just the desire to bury myself in food. Besides the desire to hurt myself even. I ate so much. Tomorrow I start my journey to healing the relationship with myself. I was going to move on with healing with my mother, but I just did that last week. This week I'm ready to tackle me. I need to heal here. Mary, you just heal this love between you and your wee little girl. Okay, well that's all I have for today. I love you so dearly, my love. I pray you had an amazing day. No matter what, I love you unconditionally. I just pray you can come closer soon. Good night, diary. Love yours always, Mary. 12/26. Dear diary, happy Boxing Day. Well, today I had more time to wake up and do some of my usual routine. This is a bit personal, but since you are just my diary, no big deal, right? I've been having trouble having orgasms for about a month. I really have to work. It's like I need a stronger connection with him. Like I said, I feel like we've been less physical than usual in the 5D. Loving, but not as sexual. I attribute it to either he's trying to move away from me in the 3D, or someone else has entered the picture. And as I said before, I'm not even going there. Well, anyhow, I've been having trouble. While I was attempting today, I mean, who doesn't need to have a good release now and then? And trust me, 5D orgasms are pretty damn hot in the 3D too. I was struggling. I heard him coaching me, telling me it's okay to orgasm, even though he's not here physically. It was so strange. I mean, sort of comforting It's just odd because when he's putting the vibes out, they're usually so loud and clear I have no issues. This is more like, okay, my 3D isn't cooperating because I'm struggling allowing a connection, but my 5D is saying it's okay. Go, baby, go. It did help. I just really, really miss that hot connection. Maybe that's something we can talk about in the garden. I understand him reserving the 3D, but please let me keep your 5D connection. It's our twin connection. It's our gift to the world. Please, baby, don't remove your 5D self. My teachers reassure me that there's no barriers at the soul level. Later, I had a bath and did a meditation for self-love. I had no intention of having him with me for this one. However, I did go to the garden with it. And guess who came anyway? Yes, my beloved. He held my hand, and then when I was sitting in the garden, he was there sitting behind me. The strange thing is I saw myself being very pregnant. It was very beautiful. He had his hands lovingly on my belly. I was leaning back fully into him, just sort of melting into him. We didn't really talk. He may have said something small like, "I'm here for you." I believe we shared some kisses and hugs. After the self-love meditation, I did a meditation on manifestation. My vision was us standing in our kitchen. It was bright and sunny. We were both smiling enormously, touching, snuggling, body to body. I have a ring on my finger. He has one on his. He lifted me up on the countertop and started kissing me passionately. Right near the end of the meditation, he carried me into our bedroom and put me on the bed, kicked his boots off. I could hear them on the hardwood floor. He was about to make mad, passionate love to me. Of course, this felt amazing, the whole scene. I had mostly a good day thinking of those manifestations. I tried hard to pay attention to all the things I saw around me that could be messages of my own manifestation growing. I saw a couple walking with a little girl. The mom was pregnant, so pretty. I also noticed 11s everywhere again today. Love, love, love. This afternoon I had a nap, waking up feeling a bit defeated. I don't know, just lonely, wishing, wanting, wondering. I went for a walk in the woods. I had images of other women again. I know this is self-loathing on my part. No matter what happens in the 3D, this vision is my own self-hatred. This is when it comes to, I don't deserve. Hey universe, hey ego, I am worthy. I'll fight this demon until I've killed it. John, I need you now. This is when I need to draw out the sword and fire up the yang and fight this devil. Let's go. When I began to feel that off feeling, I just simply anchored, brought back the vision from this morning. However, how wonderful. It wasn't as strong as this morning, but still so nice. While I was walking, I also had this vision. He sent me a text saying, "Call me." He's never done this in real life. So I call. "Hey, what's up?" "Okay, I've tried everything I can think of trying to move on. I can't get you out of my head. So we have to do something about it." "Okay." And then we hash it out, trying to figure out how we can smooth the way. It made my mind curious about what he's really thinking. That brings me to the thought that how I couldn't get him off my mind again today. While I was driving, eating, shopping, I was thinking about him doing all these things. I was also fortunate to do a clearing for us today. I try to make sure we have at least one day. I will fight for this union with every ounce of energy in my body, and then I will send my intentions into the universe and let go. Yes, this is the ticket. Release. Love, yours, Mary. All right, so that is it for today. I just want to encourage you all, if you have questions about anything, about twins in general, anything you can think of, I am open to doing the best to answer those. And I'm always open to sharing your story. We can either do it as an interview, and you can share it actually on the podcast, or you could write your story, and we would be very happy to share your actual twin story. So feel free to write me at twinflameauthor@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with it. So that's the end of episode 5, and we'll see you next week.